Hello and welcome to Non Sequitur News for July 24th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 206. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the visualizer for the Sentient AI.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to Non Sequitur News.
Hey, we're live. All right, folks. Today we're going to be talking about sleeping on cardboard beds, ingenious new way to sell homes, Yellowstone goes thermo hydrological, non-alcoholic drinks for gone mild parties, indicative of a bigger issue at Instagram. Why is the Cybertruck on the road? And I actually have a typo in there, Cybertrunk. It's okay. Inside Out throws water on Frozen 2. A pause on Kei Car Ban. Yes, it's a ban in many states. I think only 2 don't have anything on the books. Google is gone, and it's Taco Wednesday. Yay! All right, folks, we got all 10 of our articles all lined up. Let's get right into it. Yeah, we're starting at 7 o'clock, so if you're getting this in your alerts and you come a running, hopefully you looked at the alert and it said 7 instead of 8. Normally we do it at 8 o'clock, but we've been bouncing around a little bit. All right, first article is over in Reality Hacker, why Paris 2024 Olympic athletes are sleeping on cardboard beds. The competitor's bedroom furniture is simply stiff paper, along with coffee tables made from badminton shuttlecocks and ottomans made from parachute fabric. And as for durability, this gear can go the distance. Apparently that's what it is. That's actually kind of interesting. So the article is over at wired.com, so expect it to be a pretty... What did you see?
Just the bed with, I guess, a mattress over it, but it literally is cardboard boxes.
Yeah. Yep. So, yes, athletes' beds at the Paris 2024 Olympics are indeed made of cardboard. The paper-based Birth News, which has aroused curiosity and some skepticism after some videos of athletes circulated online, was confirmed by organizers of the French Olympic Games, who let it be known that Airweave, the Japanese company that had managed the athletes' rest in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, has been dubbed the official bedding supporter of the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Wow, these athletes are like busting their hump. Is it really that? Is it going to be that comfortable? Or because this doesn't really matter, everybody gets a box frame and maybe there's a couple of inches of mattress. Depends on who you are and how much you want to spend. But
what if you're doing something like hurdles, or it doesn't really matter what it is, but basically you're straining and then you probably want some good rest.
Yeah, but is the mattress actually good? Because, honestly, do you care? I would think that they would want a little bit more pomp and circumstance, considering these are Olympic athletes. Make
like
it a little
the
more
representatives
pleasant.
of each country, and
But cardboard boxes seems kind of a dystopian, post-apocalypse, post-natural weather event catastrophe, that kind of a thing. Not, hey, come to Paris for the Olympics. Here's your bed. It used to be a cat scratcher, and now it's... That's funny, though. These cardboard beds can be transported unassembled in relatively small containers, and then once their function is over, they can be recycled. Yet, despite the paper construction, the beds themselves, once put together properly, have been designed to be surprisingly sturdy, and for good reason. Again, I don't really care about the looks of it myself, but I'm not the one that has spent thousands of hours training so that I could be a world Olympic athlete and then go to Paris just to find out that, hey, your bed is made out of... Oh my goodness. And it's like foam. It's not memory foam or anything. It looks like packing material that's in your average garage getting ready to ship something back to Amazon.
Is that part of the mattress part?
That's the inside of the mattress. That right there. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't seem like it'd be enough support for your back and everything.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be enough. So the use of 16,000 cardboard beds with mattresses that are fully reusable and recyclable for the Paris Games is part of a series of initiatives put in place aiming to make these the greenest ever games, with another being the cleanup of the Seine. So last week, Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo donned a wetsuit and goggles and completely submerged herself in the Seine, where swimming had been banned for the past century, and for 50 years raw sewage was released into the river. Well, apparently they did some fixing up, but who knows? What's the incubation period?
Exactly. I'm not sure fixing up for a little bit is going to make up for 50 years of pollution.
So I don't think I said the name. Ricardo Piccolo is the author of the article over at Wired.com, but let's take a look at this again. It looks like a bunch of cardboard boxes, kind of not even duct taped together. They're just folded and put in place. I can't imagine any kind of ruckus behavior might catapult these into the waste bin. The padding, and because if you scroll up to the top, the padding is that right there. Okay, so it's like maybe an extra long twin bed, right? So you can't roll around too much, otherwise you're going to end up on the floor.
Right, you might roll out of bed.
And that's what it looks like on the inside. This is underneath that top coat was nothing more than a little liner that is wrapped around, honestly, what looks like packing material.
Yeah. Doesn't it seem like some of your, I don't know, groceries and other things get more padding than these beds?
Yeah.
Like things that get shipped, essentially.
Sure. Oh, no. Factor meals get more robust packing. Wow. All right. Well, hey, they're Olympic athletes. They probably bounce back from these kind of hard bedding. They'll sleep anywhere, really, right? That's how you're supposed to treat your Olympic athletes. I'm sure that they're not complaining. They're Olympic athletes, right? This is just...
Well, it probably depends on where the athlete is coming from and what conditions they're under.
They're used to.
During their training.
Yeah.
Some are probably grumbling and some are probably cheering.
Yeah. At least I'm not training. Let's keep going. We're going to hurdle over that last article. Oh my gosh, what is going on with... It isn't the site that is acting this way, it's Arc. Anyway, so the next article is over in Non Sequitur News as well. The 19-year-old real estate agent, or Anne, not even Anne, a 19-year-old real estate agent has found an ingenious way to sell homes and make money. Trenton Miller, 19, had no luck with boring walkthroughs of houses for sale, so he started running through homes for a speed tour video, which gets millions of views on TikTok. Now, other real estate brokers are paying him $1,500 to run through their listings to attract home buyers. It says it's chaos from the very start when Trenton Miller swings open the wooden doors of a 4-bedroom home in McLean, Virginia, a suburb in Washington, D.C., or of Washington, D.C., and off to the races they go. So Dan Latu, I guess, over at businessinsider.com put this article together. This person looks familiar to me. Trenton Miller, 19, selling houses and racing through them. Miller, a 19-year-old real estate agent, takes the viewer on a frantic jog through all 3 floors of the $3.4 million property. He plays rock, paper, scissors with himself in the mirror, pretends to have a distressing trip to the toilet, and falls not once but 3 times on the hardwood floor. Miller calls it a speed tour. There is a link that'll show you. You know what? I'll just play it.
Oh, he has the shoes off, I guess, because the.
He's screaming and
This
yelling.
is not exactly what I expected. I thought it would be more like I'm literally running through the house.
So he's got a camera person that's following him around, and he's actually kind of fast walking and still slipping in the.
Well, he is in socks on hardwood floors.
This particular house is something like 800,000, I think he said. Oh God, that had to hurt. He did fall. Garage, finished garage. But I mean, it holds true to my theory that everybody loves to watch a dumpster fire, and it certainly, getting attention, but that's about it. So probably making more money off it. No, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, early on, Miller realized that a traditional home tour where a broker calmly narrates a walkthrough of a home for sale and points out commonplace details like the height of the ceilings or finishes would get lost on TikTok. But I don't know. Wait. It says Miller intended to invest in rental properties inspired by real estate entrepreneurs he admired on YouTube, like Grant Cardone, but determined the experience he'd gained as a broker was a good place to start. So in April, he showed up to a rental listing in Chambersburg with two ideas: speed tour where he would run through the house, and a teleporting tour where he'd pop up in each room. So the viral fame has opened doors for his real estate career. That's great. Cool. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, it's something different.
Yeah, for sure. He's leaving for a trip soon to film speed tours for a vacation rental, showing off their luxury villas. Other agents are now reaching him, saying come to Florida, Virginia, and Maryland over the last 3 months to film speed tours. So I don't know.
Interesting. Like, I wonder if he's just going to end up doing speed tours and not actually house sales.
Yeah. How many? I didn't see anything about is it effective, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Selling t-shirts. Most bathrooms have that. One is most bathrooms have that, which he says when he points to mirrors above vanities in bathrooms. So, it's only a $600,000 house in Annapolis, Maryland. Oh, no, sorry. The viral videos are slowly translating into real-world leads. Someone who watched a speed tour video of a $600,000 home in Annapolis, Maryland, reached out as an interested buyer, Miller said.
Well, then maybe it is converting.
34 million views in one person. Okay. Sounds fun. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the mobile channel. It's a video of a hydrothermal explosion that scatters visitors at Yellowstone National Park, and it makes it sound like, yeah, like it blew up and it threw visitors all over the place.
In the air and.
No, I certainly don't think that there's enough respect of the pathway in relation to the geysers at Yellowstone. But this was basically, they call it a localized hydrothermal explosion near the Sapphire Pool in Biscuit Basin, a few miles north of Old Faithful. Basically, some water entered an area underground that was superheated. It turned it into steam, and it basically blew its top right next to where the wooden walkway is. There were people on it, but far enough away that they weren't immediately hurt. But there's basically debris and a steam cloud moving towards people, and they're kind of just walking back a little bit. So some people freaked out, other people just watched it, but they might have a video of it. I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So
and I mean, the explosion compared to the people size is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, I was it was really interesting because I said, well, I mean, it's a geyser. They're walking across what amounts to kind of a perforated volcano because it's a super volcano under there. All of Yellowstone is a massive dome volcano.
Right.
And waiting for the point when enough of the holes that turn Yellowstone into Swiss cheese seal up, or a fissure opens up big enough, and then it's, day turns to night kind of stuff. Derek Fox and Addie Bink over at thehill.com put the article together, but the article is from, or the video is from something called Storyful, and that is from Vlada March, I think is their name. I don't know. But it's been making its rounds. It's over on Reddit, and it's on news organizations, and it's here on the Hill. I thought that it was interesting.
Was this a location they didn't know was going to explode at all?
Well, these kind of things, they don't know when it's going to happen when they're like that. But they know based on some tectonics, ground shifting, swelling. There's sensors that are all over Yellowstone, and there may be some telemetry that says, hey, it had been increasing the dome height right there for a while. But they don't know when it's going to happen. And if without a history, like a recurring history, then they can't really say, okay, we got to. But my understanding is that somewhere around 20 people have been hurt over the years because of things like this. And the first thing out of my mouth was, when I saw an overhead view of this, it's irrationally close to a full-on geyser.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they should be yards away, I would think, and they seem like they're maybe feet away.
Well, they should be 100 feet away, and it looks like they're 15 feet away, hundreds of feet away, not sitting right on top of it. I mean, it looked like you could just jump out on top of it and shoot yourself in the air for a little bit, and everybody is all wee. But no, I mean, that it looks, seriously, look, that's the aftermath.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you would have been on that bench, you would have been, perforated by debris and steam. Yeah, but luckily nobody was hurt.
Having a lot of stuff because there was just a recent car accident at Yellowstone where people ended up in one of these hydrothermal. Somehow they all got out, but
oh, weird. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in these little walkways, kind of, traipse all across the countryside. So, they're described as violent and dramatic events by the U.S. Geological Survey. Yep, no doubt. Oh, look, it's only 7:23. No shit news. As daunting as they may sound, they're common in Yellowstone and typically occur within the Yellowstone caldera and along the Norris Mammoth tectonic corridor in Montana. And yeah, they just say hydrothermal explosions like that of today, which was yesterday, are not a sign of impending volcanic eruptions, and they're not caused by magma rising toward the surface, which is true. It's not magma rising towards the surface. It's water percolating down until it gets superheated, and then it blows back up. All right. Let's keep going. Pretty wild. The next article is over in Technology Today, the 10 best non-alcoholic drinks your party guests will love. And I chose this because if you want to have a gone mild party, you need non-alcoholic drinks. Now, these are the best non-alcoholic drinks you can get for your guests, whether for a small get-together or a larger party. But you don't have to worry about this top is not coming off. Plus, no hangover. So the article is over at cnet.com, and the the experts are it's Giselle, right? Giselle Castro Sloboda, and it's medically reviewed.
That's somebody who it was written by, apparently.
It says medically reviewed, even has a little red check,
which is just fascinating because this is about beverages. It's not necessarily like these are the health benefits.
Wow. Oh, and they're like straight out of a can kind of stuff. Oh, interesting. So they say that the best non-alcoholic beer is Athletic Brewing Company. The best non-alcoholic wine is Semblance. The best non-alcoholic bourbon is Free Spirits. Non-alcoholic bitters. So if you're going to make, I guess, like virgin drinks,
like a mocktail.
Mocktail, there, that's the better term for it, a mocktail. So like legit mocktails, you use non-alcoholic bourbon and non-alcoholic bitters, and then some mixer, and a non-alcoholic mixer. And then it says best dark and stormy is, I guess it's Lyra's. I think it's pronounced Lyra's or Lear's. Dark and spicy premixed drinks. That was my nickname all through college.
All of that?
Yes. It was weird, but hey. So they say try a dry challenge there. A dry challenge. If you hadn't noticed, more adults are going sober by cutting back on their alcoholic intake, according to Hillary Scheinbaum, journalist and author of The Dry Challenge. There are various reasons why people are saying no to alcohol. There's health benefits, better sleep, better digestion, more energy, weight loss, and some people are sick and tired of being hungover. True. So
this is why the medically reviewed, I think.
Gotcha. Athletic Brewing Company, a Connecticut-based brewing company that specializes in non-alcoholic craft beer, sent the author 3 selections to try Run Wild IPA, which really Run Mild IPA, Free Wave Hazy IPA, and Upside Down Golden Ale.
So Free Wave Clear IPA.
Say what?
Free Wave Clear IPA and Upright Golden Ale. Never mind. You said the first one was actually Run Mild, so then I said the other one was Clear and the other one was Upright.
Gotcha. Yeah, because upside down implies more alcohol than it being non-alcoholic. I'm sorry. I was like,
it wasn't that funny. Don't worry.
Wait, what? I was totally missing that. So yeah, the brewing company has its own stout beer and other limited edition beers, and to develop their non-alcoholic beer, basically you have to get it underneath 0.5%. So it can still have a taste. You may not even notice it, but if you are banning yourself, if you have an embargo, if you have an issue with alcohol, you want to avoid any alcohol. So stick to water. Anyway, so they go through this. This is what that athletic looks like. Kind of muted colors. These are like summer colors. These are the yacht rocks drinks, that kind of thing.
I wonder if it comes with a soundtrack.
It would probably be in their best interest to develop one on like Spotify or something.
Oh yeah, like playlist, yeah.
Athletic brewing playlist or something, something that people can really, and then really, curate it. Don't let it get stale like a bad non-alcoholic beer. So they don't really say much about Semblance. I mean, it's white wine, sparkling wine, but it's not alcoholic. So, and then Free Spirits makes non-alcoholic bourbon. Now, when I was younger, it was in Germany. It was called Kinderbier, and it was basically very caramelly, sweet beer without any alcohol in it. And I think I haven't had non-alcoholic beer in I don't know how long. But hell, I haven't had beer in so long. Like very rare do I drink beer anymore. But bourbon, it seems like it would be really, really hard to replicate something like this. I would love to actually get my hands on this to see if it's the same.
It's got to be like the taste, but not the feel of bourbon, right? I mean, how would they create that?
there's no way that they can replicate the bite of a real bourbon. And that actually scales. Like there's a lot of quality in the gamut of bourbons that are out there. So the brand also infuses its non-alcoholic spirits with vitamin B. Well, B vitamins, plural, and amino acids to help enhance your mood and make the drinks more nutritious. How nice. It is a nice bottle. And there's some more over here, so go and check it out. And one of the shows that I actually want to spin up focuses on that, because I like the idea of having a show that talks about spirits, like Distillerist of the Bean talks about coffee, Brew talks about beer, Grape talks about wine, Leaf talks about tea, and Of the Still actually is sort of along the same lines as the Of the series. Distillerist was designed to do a deeper dive into distilling. These two, one of which I would like to actually be able to do distillations, distill spirits, but it is fundamentally in the United States illegal at the federal level. States, you can get licensing, but even then, you still have to pay certain fees. You have to get certified, basically licensed, in a permit, and you have to spend thousands of dollars just for the permitting side of things. So it's kind of a hot mess. Other countries, not an issue.
Yeah, it's not made very easy in the US.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it would be a fun, 1 hour show, talk about something once a week and be done. Okay, let's keep going though. The next article is over in Technology Today. Meta takes down 63,000 Instagram accounts linked to extortion scams. And that's why I titled this indicative of a bigger issue at Instagram, and not just Instagram, society in general. But before we get there, if you want to get all of these show notes, you hit !NSN in the chat, and that'll pull the bot into action, listing all of today's articles. It's supposed to be in the order that they are put into the bot as we talk about stuff, but they're all
Depends
there.
on if ohmTown is cooperating.
ohmTown is a problem bot. To get all of the syntax for all of the shows that we have, and we have 7 shows, you can just hit !show notes, and that will give you all of the commands. So we have non-sequitur news, reality hacker, wanted, WarCrafters, the continuity report, Technology Today, 4-Wheel Tech, and eventually one for music called Mix War. It's in the list, but we haven't done any shows on it. And I've got 3 more that I want to bring, but they're probably going to get slow rolled into existence. My mayoral duties prevent me from charging full steam into streaming 100%. So more on that as this week progresses. So this next article is about Meta taking down 63,000 Instagram accounts linked to extortion scams, and they've taken this down from Nigeria as part of a massive crackdown on extortion scams, and not extortion. I'm editing.
Right. That's a ton of accounts.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. So Carissa Bell over at Engadget.com put the article together. The accounts primarily targeted men, according to the company. And what we've seen and what we've talked about here in the show before is that a lot of foreign bad actors take domestic, and by domestic I mean local women's pictures, and then use them in a way either to fish or, in this case, extort. Perhaps this is the process, by implying that a person knows this person because they've edited a picture, or they've found other things that allow them to manipulate something into corroborating some type of narrative. And they go, well, I know where you work. I'm going to email this photo of you doctored into this picture, etc., etc. And so it turns into a thing. So the takedowns are part of an effort led by Meta to combat extortion scams, and they use a different term again. Yeah, this is pretty horrible. And earlier this year, the company added a safety measure to automatically detect these type of blackmail scams. And according to Meta, the recent takedowns included 2,500 accounts that were linked to a group of about 20 people who worked together to carry out these scams. And unfortunately, because they are outside of the United States, they're outside of the ability for the federal government and local police to do something with immediacy. And meanwhile, there are people that are being impacted reputationally, hit by these claims alone.
Right, yeah, once you damage somebody's reputation. I think it is good that these companies are finally doing something about it rather than just taking the approach, oh, well, whatever happens on the platform is whatever.
Right. Yep. Good. And I think that they are, to some percentage, responsible for the actions that take place on a website. Again, to some degree. If awareness is brought to it and 63,000 accounts can be made, this is not the first time somebody's heard about it, but they don't inject enough human into the systems to monitor something like this, and that is the problem. 63,000 Instagram accounts linked to extortion scams. Yeah. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the mobile channel. The Tesla Cybertruck has never been crash tested, and it probably never will be.
How is it on the road?
That was my question. Why is the Cybertruck on the road? The Tesla Cybertruck sucks, is what this article says. It's from QZ or Quartz. We'll get to the author here in a minute. It's been a reliability disaster. Can't even survive a simple car wash. Is incredibly difficult to repair. Has edges that are sharp that owners have ended up in the hospital from their injuries, and it looks like it was designed in a lab to crush pedestrians, and it hasn't been crash tested. So why is this on the road? Colin Woodard from jalopnik.com, but it's published over at qz.com, Quartz. The deck statement says limited resources keep the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and Insurance Institute for Highway Safety from testing every car. But
didn't know that before this article.
I find that shocking that a car can be cleared for the road if it can't get past NHTSA. And really, if a car can't fund its audit, then it has no job being on the road, because it behooves our entire process, trust in the roads, the safety of vehicle to vehicle impacts. This thing is so damn heavy and just a massive chunk of steel that when it hits something, it's going to careen right on through it. And it's not built,
including other vehicles and people, etc.
Yeah, it's not it's not built to mitigate safety of anybody except the people that are inside it, perhaps, because it's just a giant lead weight. So I don't think that this thing should be on the road at all. An NHTSA spokesperson says the agency provides crash test ratings for 86% of new vehicles. Why not 100%? In 2020,
if you're not going to do all of them, at least do the ones that have never existed before. Like, it's one thing when it's an update to an existing model.
Right. Yeah. That's true. If it isn't a substantial, there are certain processes that I have to adhere to when I'm not mayor, and even when I am mayor. And if I affect a change beyond a certain percentage, then the entire thing gets re-audited, because it has a fundamental impact on the performance of the thing that I'm working on. So why is it that a car can be out on the road my insurance is impacted by that vehicle's existence, because if I get hit by it, more damage is done to my car. So
yeah, and also, why doesn't it trigger a review when they are having safety problems with a vehicle?
right, it should be pulled off the road until it passes NHTSA and IIHS audits. With their limited resources, there's only so many cars that NHTSA and IIHS can crash every year, so it makes sense that they would focus on the most popular brand models. This is a popular model within its silo, right? It's vertical, which is electric, all electric trucks, right? It's not an ICE truck, it's an electric truck. Go and grab all of the electric trucks.
Yet another reason, it might be the first electric truck, right? I can't remember if it was, but it was around the time that they first started introducing electric passenger trucks.
Yep. So with established automakers, that's probably not a huge concern, right? Automakers are still required to meet minimum safety or crash safety standards. So there's no reason to assume your new make-in is unsafe, but a Consumer Reports points out it does leave buyers in the dark where they're shopping for new cars. And HTSA does randomly test cars to make sure they aren't cutting corners, but you still have to put a lot of faith in the automakers themselves to ensure that their cars are safe. They're talking about a Porsche, in the BMW 7 Series, and even Land Rover Discovery. Many luxury cars and other low volume models have never been crash tested. Yeah.
I actually didn't know that. I really thought all of them were.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And I've actually been, when I was much younger, I designed a car, but it was a prototype, and I had learned all of this stuff. Like the reason why you have to have side view mirrors. Up until recently, you had to have side view mirrors instead of little cameras, and have monitors inside the car, because in theory the electronics can fail, but a mirror won't fail. Of course, it could become
right. Yeah, you want it 100% usable.
Yeah, but it can be stripped off, or it can be iced over or rained on to the point where it's impossible to use. But anyway, so there you go, folks. If you didn't know, now you know that not all cars on the road have been crash tested, and you may be in one of those.
And you may want to stay away from some of those if you're not in them.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Next article is over in the Mobile channel. Inside Out beats Frozen 2. Inside Out 2. Let me correct myself real quick. Inside Out 2 beats Frozen 2 as the highest grossing animated movie of all time. Dun dun.
It's a standoff, but I guess it's not,
water,
since it's already surpassed it.
Yeah, it's not a standoff. Yeah, Inside Out has thrown water on Frozen. The film is ruining its birthday party. Man, the film is now playing in theaters worldwide and has surpassed the record previously held by Frozen 2. Now, I've always thought that these are kind of weird when they do this. Sabina Graves is the author. It's over at gizmodo.com. There's more people. The prices are higher, right? You think?
Yeah, are they really normalizing for viewers and inflation and all that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a per capita thing. I think that the metrics need to change so that we actually have a better understanding of just what is happening. So it says in only 6 weeks, Inside Out 2 has moved into the number 13 spot in the all-time industry global box office rankings, according to Disney. Additionally, the film also crossed $600 million in the domestic box office yesterday. Yesterday. Hold on a second. And has remained in the top 3 titles throughout its run. Inside Out 2 has brought in $861 million internationally, and it's not done yet because the film has yet to be released in Japan. It's opening there next week. But it already has broken.
Animated movies probably are going to be a big hit there.
Yeah, my understanding is that they customize it too. So for the region, they tweak things so that it's more acceptable to a given culture. Not all of them are always the same. So like if it was going to release in China, they'd modify it certain ways so that it is more appropriate, culturally relevant. It's also the highest grossing movie of 2024 to date and the only one to cross $1 billion, which is something that we've talked about before. So leave it to Disney and Pixar to have a supercharged ticket sales with the release of Inside Out 2, which is now officially the highest grossing animated film of all time worldwide.
I mean, if it keeps going, I wonder if it'll be the highest grossing period, even among non-animated or live action.
Oh, that would be interesting, right? It crosses over Dune.
Well, I mean, it's on its way, but I don't know. I mean, to me, opening weekend seems to be where most of the money is made, but it's hard to gauge because of everybody doing streaming.
Yep. Let it go. Let it go. And I'm going to go on to the next article because it's over at 4-Wheel Tech, and we got to drive over to that location. Oh, we're here. So Massachusetts pauses its Kei Car Ban after fierce resistance. I'm going to take credit for this because I started...
I mean, you did call it out, right?
I did, yeah. So earlier this year, I basically started talking about Kei cars and that in the United States, there's been a ban. Most notably, Massachusetts pulled the plug on all Kei cars being on the road. Enthusiasts all over the U.S. love tiny Japanese Kei cars, so naturally state governments are coming out of the woodwork to ban them without good reason. That's not entirely true. Massachusetts is the latest state to give the bans a shot, but lawmakers and their secretive backers are facing stiff resistance from JDM enthusiasts. So, this isn't a Kei car, is it? Is this classified as a Kei car?
I don't know. I'm thinking of Kei trucks. I'm not real familiar with Kei cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same. If you have that tiny little footprint, they can't be the engine can't be too big, the wheelbase can't be too wide or too long, and it can only hold a certain volume to qualify as a Kei car. So Amber De Silva...
I suspect it's under a certain weight as well.
I don't remember the weight, but yeah. Amber De Silva over at jalopnik.com put the article together. And let's see here. I'm going to try and summarize this real quick. But in a nutshell, people came out of the woodwork. And like I said, I'm going to take credit for it. I had really nothing to do with it in the grand scheme of things. But I did start talking about it earlier this year because I want a Kei truck. Not for any real utility because, well, I don't really need it, but I think that they are awesome. So while states do, in fact, have the legal authority to decide which vehicles can be registered, the RMV wouldn't have gotten as big of a backlash if it had actually figured out what a Kei car is first. First, the partial list of includes the Toyota Light Ace van and related Town Ace pickup, neither of which are Kei class vehicles. Second, the guidelines for identifying vehicles not on the example list can also apply to domestically made FMVSS abiding cars. Specifically, it calls out vehicles older than 25 years with VINs shorter than 25 characters, this is whoever built this policy is just a dumbass because
right. They don't know anything about cars, right?
They're not actually calling out Keis. They're just saying Kei cars, and then throwing a bunch of stuff on there and seeing what noodle sticks to the door. It's really weird. The document, once or since relocated or deleted from the AAMVA website, they mirror it on the site, advocated for ceasing registration of mini trucks, which is how the organization referred to Kei trucks at the time. It updated this verbiage to off-road vehicles to argue for their ineligibility in June of 2021, immediately preceding the Rhode Island ban. That's the state that I was talking about. Oh, and by the way, yeah, it's a ban, and they're saying that it doesn't meet safety rules, and that the only place you can use them on is on farms. They're not allowed on roads.
Oh, okay, like not road safe, essentially.
Correct.
Except they didn't really restrict it to Kei cars. They got rid of all old cars, etc. I mean, if everybody was following it strictly.
Yeah, somebody with a vested interest in, I guess, keeping these little cars off the road, because if you don't, I'm forcing people to buy bigger vehicles, I suppose. But we just got done talking about the fact that the Cybertruck hasn't even passed safety inspections. So,
can't you see somebody like Tesla being behind this?
Right.
Like because of the Cybertruck, right? Which is so far from this.
Yeah. These trucks, if they were produced here in the States, they would be even cheaper. But no, they're made overseas. They're brought into the U.S. They might be made down in Mexico. I'm not sure exactly where they're all made, but depending on where they're made, they're pretty damn inexpensive, under $20,000. And only because they're constrained are they moving up. They're popular. They're becoming more and more popular. So hopefully the price will stay small and I'll be able to get one without any remorse. So the full piece is over.
Do you think there's like a Streisand effect going on here? I mean, I know that's not really it, but it seems like the more there's an uproar about it, more people kind of get wound up about them in a positive way.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. And it's all because Rhode Island, yanked the chain of all of these Kei vehicle owners without any logical reason as to why. My only concern with them is I don't think that they have enough safety, but I don't think that the original minis did either. So, like, what is it? Ocean's 11? Is it Ocean's 11 where they have the minis?
Oh, no, it's the Italian Job.
Yeah, Italian Job. That's right. So, in the Italian Job, they put roll cages inside the minis. That's the only way that I would really want an old school mini. The newer versions have been tested and do have safety features in them and aren't just a big, massive chunk of metal that has some survivability, but I don't know. I don't know what the accidents are, but that one programmer for the automated driving, he died as a passenger in the car or as the driver. I don't know which person survived. I don't know if the guy that survived was driving it or if he was a passenger.
Right. But either way.
Yeah, one person died in a
right.
Fully
but not
self-driving.
Really the Mini.
No, not a Mini. A Tesla. Anyway, it wasn't even a Cybertruck. I just think that we need every car to be safety checked. Not every individual car, but the line that has the same design mechanics, the same processes put in place. They all need to be tested. But we do the same stuff with our food safety too, right? Like 1%.
Exactly. Don't we test? Yeah, I was going to say like 1%. I mean, it's just outrageous. And obviously that's more immediate, right? You eat some bad food, you might not be making it. Whereas if you're in a bad crash, you might make it out of there.
Yeah, just the physics of it may make it a little bit more difficult. Anyway, see, I want Kei cars. I think that if they were made safe or safer, then more people would get these Kei cars. They would be cheaper. They would be, you could put more of them on the road without them clogging up the road forever. Everything would be
more
safer.
More eco-friendly, right? Probably less fuel consumption, etc.
Particularly if you make them hybrid. And I just love the idea of having these little Kei cars. I mean, it would be the one reason why I really like the idea of going to Europe, because they typically have these smaller cars. And if everybody is in it, then everything's fine. But if you get hit by a Ford F-150, yeah, you're toast. Anyway, so I'm going to stomp on the gas and we're going to switch over to another article. And this one's over at WarCrafters. Yet another Google web service bites the dust in August when Google, the URL shortening service from Google, will stop working, and all of the links in the historic record of Google will also stop.
My chaos.
Yeah. So in the meantime, an interstitial page warning users about the upcoming linkpocalypse will begin showing on a percentage of affected links, telling visitors that the link they've clicked will no longer work in the near future. This percentage will increase until the shutdown date. That shutdown date is August 2025.
Yeah, well, at least
So,
that's not like 2024. And when I first saw this, I thought this was one of these country top level domains. I
yeah,
didn't know which one.
it's just a URL shortener. So, like a lot of the links into ohmTown are quite gargantuan at times because it's the headline title.
Like this one.
Yeah, and this one is actually kind of short compared to some, but with the goo.gl link shortening service, which I actually have the ability to do link shortening within ohmTown.com. And I'll be visiting that as a possible solution to shorten it to ohm.town and then the URL. Basically an encoded thing. The problem, though, is that it's not really good for discovery. In some places, like YouTube, in the show notes, they don't allow shorteners.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, there you go. It's because it's a security thing. It obscures what the real URL is until you're there. So, I agree with that philosophy. So, anyway, let's go over to the source. The source for this news is Russell Adderson over at PCGamer.com. And
Do you like the deck statement?
yeah, the deck statement says the only thing Google likes better than creating new services is canceling old ones. Yeah. Sometimes they like canceling the free service that they've been offering for a decade because it's no longer economically advantageous to draw in. They've met saturation and now they're going to pivot people. It's the ATM.
Now that everybody's on board with it.
Yeah, and vested, I've had the same email address since Google was created, and now I have to start paying for it, even though I've been using it ad bound and everything, and all of it is still ad bound and everything. Anyway, so Russell Adderson over at PC Gamer talking about how this Google URL shortening service will kick into action here in a year. So the news follows the announcement back in 2018 that Google had planned to discontinue the link shortening service. The company stated that many popular URL shortening services have emerged, and the ways people find content on the internet have also changed dramatically. Google directed devs to migrate over to Firebase Dynamic Links, a service it inherited when it purchased Firebase in 2014. The only problem is that Google's deprecated that too. It's now telling devs to use other deep linking services for their link shortening needs, but warns, of course, that they haven't been vetted. The links serviced by Firebase Dynamic Links will also stop working August 2025. So, yeah. Oh, and what's really neat, I'm glad that they actually listed them here because I was going to talk about it. Google is killed or is killing YouTube Originals, Google Podcasts, Google Talk. It's all that's changed. And Google Reader was killed a while back too. So,
is that all? I mean, how many services does it actually offer, and what percentage is this?
Well, like I said earlier, the free service that they offered, they changed to a pay service. And so in a very short amount of time, you got walloped by a bill if you wanted to keep all of your email addresses that you had been using. Yep. Anyway, what's weird is that you get the same stuff. So I don't quite get it. Oh, by the way, and if you want to use YouTube, if you want to use the paid YouTube service, you have to use a Gmail account. You can't have a branded account that uses their pay service. So I have a vanity URL or a vanity name email address that isn't Gmail. And I can't use that to subscribe to YouTube TV.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So anyway, even though I pay for it. So, okay, I pay for both. I pay for the vanity URL and I pay for YouTube.
You pay for the inconvenience.
Thank you, Ticketmaster. So the next in our last article for tonight is over in Technology Today. What a bizarre taco-shaped sea creature can teach us about evolution. So exceptional fossils show how mandibulates were trapping prey in marine ecosystems 500 million years ago, and researchers have classified the Cambrian marine animal Adaria.
Right. I don't know. I want to keep adding vowels to it. Like I'm kind of thinking of the Hawaii pronunciation.
Is it Oda? I need a sound effect. Just go every time I guess something wrong. Anyway,
it'd
it's
be like
Taco Wednesday.
A game show buzzer.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna have to find that. I have a soundboard. Don't make me whip out my soundboard.
You should do it. I mean, you could add the spoiler alert and the buzzer sound and
the beep bleep when I say a bad word. Yeah, I'll say the bad word and then 3 seconds later beep it. So it's Taco Wednesday. This is what it looks like. Royal Ontario Museum put this article together. It's posted at scitechdaily.com.
Okay, that was weird looking, and then you uncovered the rest of the photo, and it was weirder looking because of the eyes.
Yeah,
I guess those are the eyes.
It looks like a 3-finned fish wrapped inside like maybe a street taco shell.
Yes, it's trying to be a fish taco.
But then it has these little things that stick out of its nose at an angle that would be at parity with the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix. Now, that only makes sense to people who are really into the Matrix and remember the Nebuchadnezzar, but it has these anti-gravity little devices sticking out of it so that it could fly through tunnels underground. Yeah. Anyway, researchers have classified...
That's exactly what that looks like.
Kind of weird, huh? Maybe they got inspiration from that. See? It's genetic memory. They are recalling their time when they were oh my gosh. Odarai.
And this is why it's non sequitur news.
Odarai. Never mind. Anyway.
I feel like you're going to break into song there.
Wait.
It reminded me of the Shearers thing. Because you were doing kind of a similar tune.
What was the name of the song?
Albania.
What was
Albania.
Oh, Albania. Albania. You're a 500 million year old taco-shaped marine animal. Anyway, they said that it lived in the Cambrian period. Fossils collected by ROM reveal Odarai. Oh, God, I can't even. Odarai. Odaraya. Okay. Odaraya. You know, this is why you come
Odaraya.
and subscribe. Odaraya. Oh, it is. Odaraya. You nailed it. It's Odaraya. I've been really hard, pressed to find out where the inflection was. Thankfully, I can excuse myself right now and end the show and say, well, my voice is going up. So anyway, the Cambrian, say it again.
Odaraya.
Odaraya alata, and the colonization of nectonic suspension feeding niches by early mandibulates was published in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B Biological Sciences. That B does not stand for Biological Sciences, if I recall correctly.
No, I don't think it does, but
it's
I don't
the
remember what it
inferior
stands for.
Proceedings.
No, not at all.
I'm going to get to present in the big room. Sorry. I'm tenure track. Anyway, The study authors were able to identify a pair of large appendages with grasping, jagged edges near its mouth, clearly indicative of mandibles, which are one of the key and distinctive features of the mandibulate group of animals. And this suggests that, say it again.
No shit news at 8:05 p.m. that Odoria,
There you go, was one of the earliest known members of this group. Yeah. The researchers made another stunning discovery. A detailed analysis of its more than 30 pairs of legs found an intricate system of small and large spines. According to the authors, these spines could intertwine, capturing smaller prey as through a fishing net, suggesting how some of the first mandibulates left the seafloor and explored the water column, setting the seeds for the future ecological success. And if you've ever been on a date with somebody that just couldn't keep their hands off of you, you know exactly what it's like to go out with Odoria.
hooray!
Oh my goodness. That's it, folks. We're done. It's only 20 centimeters in size. I'm glad I didn't say 20 meters. That would have been huge. Anyway, 20 centimeters in size.
I mean, if it was in the deep sea, it might be, but...
Could be. That's one thick Odoria. Thank you, AI, for saving me. There's a lot more over at this article. They talk about the Burgess Shale and its importance to paleontology and the uniqueness of the Odoria at the Burgess Shale. So go and check all of that out. We talk about this stuff more in Technology Today, which is one of our shows that we'll be doing on Saturday. All things aligning properly. I'll just say that. But we're hoping to get all of the shows that would normally be on Sunday done on Saturday because Mayor Watt and the AI have an activity that we need to attend on Sunday. So, dun dun dun. I know.
Does it involve Odoria?
Yes, avoiding it. Because it has a bad Odoria. All right. We're out of here. See ya tomorrow at somewhere between... Oh, you know what? That's right. I forgot. We have to ascend the water column so that we return to ohmTown.com. Go over there, become a citizen. I think it's a great benefit to everybody because it allows you to manage your information overload. If you've been to other social news sites, you know that it's just overwhelming with a lot of noise. That's not how it works here in ohmTown. You get a lot of news article headlines, a little snippet that teases you into going over to the source. Then you can basically judge a book by its cover kind of stuff, which is what we do over in social news networks. But this is all aggregated it's provided by these news sources. And filtered into 6 big categories and 50 subcategories. And then once you sign in or sign up, these will change to black on white, or no, white on black background icons, and you'll get a 7th one right here that gives you additional functionality. But to get there, you have to become a citizen. Dun dun dun. That's right. Little geek.
So don't delay. Get it done.
That's right. Today. Right now. Go. I'll wait. Oh, wait. How about some ASMR? Okay, that's enough. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI that's not telling me to stop that.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News.
Bye-bye. Odoria, you were a 500 million year old Cambrian creature.